Horse and Friends Radio with Conrad and Raphael.
Hey, I'm Conrad Nodden.
And I'm Raphael Valle. And from Nashville, Tennessee, you're listening to
The Horse and Friends Radio Show. Of the horse, for the horse, and by the horse lovers everywhere. Hey, Raphael, here we are, show number 6 already, and the thing is really exploding with interest, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, the comments, feedback, and just, how can we go wrong? We've had some great guests. I mean, from our first guest, Mary Ann Kennedy, Melanie Sue Bowles, Joe Camp, Vaughn Wilson, and Templeton Thompson.
Amazing.
And
And now, for this show, who do we have for the special guest on this show number 6?
Great guy, full of energy, a tremendous horseman, Tommie Turvey.
Yeah.
Better known as an equine extremist, and that he is. He takes it to the next level of if anybody has been fortunate enough to see him perform, he really puts on a fantastic show.
This is going to be a fun show. Don't miss this show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, also, we're continuing with a special sponsor that you've had a relationship with for several years. And who's that?
Yeah, Omega Horse Shine. We've been using it on Ivory Palace since 2002 and all of our horses. Just great results, that shiny coat, that strong feet, and they've just been a great company to work with, and we strongly believe in their product.
Mm-hmm.
This is Raphael, and I'm proud to say that we have been using Omega Horseshine on Ivory Pal and all of our horses since 2002. Omega Horseshine is made from stabilized whole ground flaxseed, is high in omega-3, and is all natural with no artificial preservatives. Omega Horseshine gives Ivory Pal a strong immune system, that shiny golden coat, and strong hooves that enables him to be barefoot and maintain his peak performance. Ivory Pal loves Omega Horseshine so much that he is the ambassador for this great product, and his pictures are on the Omega Horseshine bag. Omega Horseshine was named Product of the Year and Best in Nutrition by Horse Journal. Omega Horseshine is available at quality feed and tack stores nationwide. To order online or find a dealer near you, please visit www.omegafields.com.
And we're continuing with Malibu Video Productions regarding equestrian videos of special events and special horses.
There ain't nothing in my way. Oh, nothing in my way. Oh, I've got nothing in my way. My strength, my pride, the girl that's buried deep inside. My life, my ways, no more lonely nights and wasted days. Well, she hitched her way out to Hollywood, where she put her foot on the poison path of no return. She had a dream to be free, 'cause she didn't wanna be mom and daddy's little girl. She's out to find a life in a new world. She had a dream to be free.
Now, speaking of Tommie Turvey, as getting horses to do amazing things, you were reading an article in Equus magazine. In fact, Ivory Pal is on the cover.
Yeah, that's the August issue. We'll keep referring to it. It's a great article, not because he's on the cover, but that helps.
It does help, doesn't it? It's nice. In fact, it's great.
But you look at what Tommie does with his horses. I mean, it's totally, he puts them in situations that most horses would be running out of the arena. But like he already explained, it comes to the leadership and the trust issue. In this article, it's called Riding Through Spooks. It basically breaks down how to deal with a horse who spooks. And it's basically, it goes into the basics that a horse is a flight animal, and their tendency is to spook. It's in their genetics. It's not if they're going to spook, as a matter of when. But you can work on it by how we react to it. Saying that don't focus on what the horse is doing. Focus obviously on staying safe and focusing on how we're reacting to it.
That's a key, isn't it?
Yeah, because most of the time, what's the natural reaction? Okay, the horse spooks. oh my God, clamp down, tighten up on the saddle, pull the dang reins. Just, my heart races, I'm breathing, I'm, screaming,
That's when
whatever.
he throws you and heads back to the barn.
Yeah. It's like, oh, what did a horse buck? I'm out of here. There's something dangerous. There's a lion on that bush. If my leader's afraid, what the heck is going on there? So the horse picks up on that,
Right.
and it just escalates higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
And then some people resort to being rough on the horse. And the horses go, my God, now my leader is now a predator. He's trying to kill me too. Oh my God, I'm out of here. Bye. So it focuses on that. It's a great idea. It's basically focusing on the now. You hear of athletes saying how they perform at peak performance, peak level. They're in the zone. So you always got to be in the zone. It's like the horse is not a motorcycle. It's got reactions, and if you expect even a motorcycle will throw you off.
That's right.
But so it's basically focusing on our reactions, our behavior with the horse. Don't expect the horse to be our leader. We have to be the leader for it. And then with time, you could actually have the horse not reacting to things and not spook because it trusts you by the way we're reacting to it. So a very good article.
Well, let's learn some more about that. Hey, let's go to the telephone line, and I believe we've got Tommie Turvey on the line.
Yep.
Okay, Raphael, on the line, we have this special actor, stuntman, trainer, horseman, you name it.
Equine extremist.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Tommie Turvey, and thanks so much for being with us on this show number 6.
Yep. Hey, Tommie, how's it going?
Great, Raphael and Conrad. I'm doing good, man.
Yeah. So tell us about, you pretty much have been around horses all your life. I was mentioning earlier to Conrad that most of us are just trying to stay on the saddle. Here, you seem to be walking on them, doing everything that most people can't possibly even think. So, that's pretty impressive what you do. I've seen some of your acts live. Boy, and the energy and passion and emotion you bring to the shows are incredible. So give us a little bit about your background here. How long have you been involved with horses, and how'd you get into being an equine extremist?
Well, I owe a lot of people. Anytime I guess anybody's really good at something, you owe a lot of people. But I was born and raised with horses, and that was my dad and mom's doing. My mom was a barrel racer, and my dad was a rodeo cowboy. So we grew up with horses, and I was always the one, ever since I was a little kid, they put me on the horse that nobody else can ride. I started actually my first job ever making money was at an auction, and the owners would give me a few bucks to go in and ride their horse back and forth on a little auction ring while they auctioned it all off. And I was always such a little kid. Even at the age of 12, 13, 14, I looked like I was probably still 10. I didn't mature till I was. Well, I'm still not mature, but
hey, that's a good thing, huh? Yeah, it comes in handy the older we get in age, but not in spirit or looks, huh?
I was always a immature-looking kid, and so I could always ride a horse, and I'd get on the auction horses and run back and forth, and they couldn't do nothing. All they could do is, the auction ring is so small, and I'd jump all over the horse and stand up on it and everything, and the auctioneer would say, "Look, even a little kid can ride it."
Oh, boy, that was a good sales pitch, huh?
Yeah.
How did you?
And since then, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Raphael.
No, I was just going to say, how did you actually get into the head of the horse so that, because this is what we focus on a lot on the show, and I was so curious because you get these horses doing everything that seems a little unnatural, and it seems so natural when you get them doing it. How did you end up, starting off early that is, getting into the head of the horse so that you get them to trust you and that you don't do it through dominance, but these horses look like they love doing what you're asking them to do?
That is, that's a part of it. Again, I always knew how to ride horses. I got my balance, my timing, and fear dealt with at a very early age with horses. And but by the time I was 18 or 19, my first job was at Medieval Times Dinner Theater. And then I was entertaining for about 15 or 20 years and just entertaining on horses. And I figured I always had to ride other horses. And I wasn't really so much training the horses, but dealing with them. When you ride a different horse every night in a show, somebody's night off or whatever, you got to figure every show I've ever worked on, which has been 10, 15, they have about 30 or 40 horses. So I'd ride each and every horse different nights. So I wouldn't try to train them. I just try to get into their heads and, okay, what are you going to allow me to do? We got to do the job because I'm getting paid. The horse is getting paid. We have to do a job, but how are we going to get through it? And the horses, and I finally realized, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago, that even longer than that the horse is going to be the one that decides how he's going to do it. I'm going to, of course, be very very persistent and that the horse does it, because the horse has to do what we ask him to do. It just has to, and for many reasons. But he can do it the way that he wants to do it, and I think that's the talent there. It's just figuring out and allowing each and every horse to do it the way that they can do it, because every human is different too. We can't do it like the other person.
Yeah, that's a great point. So you take what the horse gives you and work with it. That's because what you do with horses is incredible. I mean, the things you the stunts and the work and obviously, and we're going to talk about here in a little bit, the movie scenes and the movie sets that you've done are just fantastic. So that's a great philosophy. And some of the other guests we've had have shared that in common. So there's a trend out here that once we understand it's not how we forcing the horse to do something, but working with the horse and giving us what it wants and being able to communicate with it, obviously in horse terms and stuff, and being the leader. You obviously, you set the expectations based on the horse's abilities.
That's been a common thread, hasn't it,
Very
Raphael?
interesting. It just came out.
Natural horsemanship, they all say basically the same thing. They found the secret, like Tommie did, and on an early age, and worked with it. Could you tell us a little bit about Poker Joe?
Oh, boy, he's a beautiful horse. The relationship shines.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Unreal.
Yeah. My hat's off to you for
thank
that.
you. He is, thank you. He's almost 20 years old. I've had him since he was, I say other words, but I've had him since he was 4. And he was probably he was a very difficult, really sour horse to train. He trained me. So I've had him for, almost 15 years. And like I said, I've always been doing horses. I knew horses and everything, but I didn't know how to put together a comedy act. And I didn't, when I first bought him, 16 years ago, I wasn't thinking comedy. I wasn't thinking this is what I'm going to do with him. I bought him because I needed a trick riding, a horse that I can vault on and I can do trick ropes on. And he had a bunny brand on his butt, a white tail, 4 white stockings. He was a cute horse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I didn't buy him for any other reason than that, and I got a good price on him. And then I started training him, and I thought, well, and I worked for many comedians on horseback, Mark Caroli and Gaylord Maynard, and I worked with them, I should say. I worked for Mark Caroli, but I worked and watched a lot of Pat Crampton, the Rosaires, a lot of circus horse trainers, and I watched their acts, and I watched how they did it and how they got their horses to do it. And I was even offered by several of those horse trainers to carry on their act after they had died or retired or whatever they wanted me to continue on their act. But I've always been the type of person that I'm a leader. I guess that's what makes me a good horseman is I want to lead. I want to have my own act. So Poker Joe, I decided to come up with an act, and I had some good things. Like I could turn him upside down and put him on his
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I love that scene where you're talking to him in his hoof like he's a mic, yeah?
That's great.
I learned that from Mario Laratti and friends. He taught me the act like that.
Yeah.
But I put my own flair to it. I trained him how to do that, and I put my own thing. I made the bongos up, and I reached for the hat, and I sing into his hoof, and I do it as the riding instructor. So.
How did you get him? I was curious because I saw that the other day. Your hat is on his back hoof, and you reach for it, and he extends his back leg just out of reach. How did you actually get him to do that? Is there a cue that you push on him somewhere that he does it, or how does that happen?
There is a cue, and yes, there's one of those things that if you watch the video 2 or 3 times, it's funny. One of my best friends, Josh Lyons, and I always take it a great compliment when a big trainer comes up to me and says, I don't know how you did that, but I'm going to come watch your act again, and I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah, you have to watch his...
Yeah.
We don't want to give away your secret.
They're watching
you know?
in slow motion. It's like put a magnifying glass onto figure. Hey, but that's a great compliment coming from Josh Lyon when the cue that you're giving it's very subtle. So that's pretty cool.
It's great. Now we understand. Is this also accurate? I understand it is. Polka Joe is a Breyer model.
Yes, he is.
That
One
was
of them. One of my horses.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that was quite a thrill, wasn't it?
You know, it really was. I guess it wasn't as big as a thrill as my first horse that they made a model out of, but
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
So I have
having
two horses
two.
now that are models.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great
it is.
compliment.
I mean, it is. I grew up with them. All my sisters had Breyer models. I remember, my older sister Sandy, she would get Breyer models for Christmas all the time, and and I didn't even know if you guys know this, but if you can actually cut the head off of a Breyer model and glue it onto the butt. It's really,
Why would we want to do that?
Boy, I bet your sisters loved you, huh? Boy, where's my Breyer model? Here it is. Oh, sorry, the head's in the wrong place, huh?
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, if you
That's
know my
funny.
sisters, that's not what you do. You don't do that kind of thing anymore.
Yeah, I know they're into riding too. Karen, I've met her. She's also into Equine Extremist too. So you come up from a family that's in your blood, I guess, of doing these great and wonderful things with horses. Now, you've obviously have had great success. I mean, you've been in some pretty high-profile movies. I believe you did some of the writing in the Batman, the Black Knight, and other movies. And can you tell us about that a bit?
Sure, and with all the stuntmen, every one of the stuntmen, all of my friends are. The worst thing about our job is you don't see our faces too much in the stunt, and they usually cut half the stunt off, and the same with Black Knight, and sometimes they don't get your name on the credits, and sometimes they misspell your names, and there's a lot of things, but it pays very, very well, and there's good insurance, so that's what's nice. But like the Black Knight, you can barely see that. You can barely see it's me in places if you pause, and you can hardly tell there's horses on there. There was we actually had 15 horses on there, and the large funeral scene going down Chicago. I forget the name of Durant Street, I believe.
Yeah.
They closed the whole thing down on Sundays. 1,000 extras, 15 horses, all dressed up like police officers, and then the gunfires erupt and everything goes crazy. That's why they had stuntmen on horses. But if you don't look carefully, you can't hardly see us on there.
Yeah, that's the scene, I think, where the Joker shows up, huh? And Rex Havoc. Yeah, I think I remember that. I think that one of the police chiefs had died. Yeah, I remember that scene.
Now, Tommie, watching your videos, we can also tell, of course, you're a stuntman, as you've been hired to do, but it's obvious that you're in excellent shape to do the things that you do. I understand that you're into martial arts, and also you do juggling and all these other things. Is that so?
Yeah, I used to be a black belt in Taekwondo. I don't study too much anymore. I just, I have a punching bag. I knock around a little bit, and I run. I have to stay shape. I have to run, and it's stay physically in shape. Not only physically, but mentally in shape too.
It's incredible. Yeah, you have to be in the zone every time you get up there and perform. The balance, the
Roman riding. There's a lot of balance on that and all.
Yeah. And
people think the most the biggest time that you don't talk to me is an hour before my show, and then like really a half an hour before I go on.
Yeah.
Especially like comedy or the comedy act that I do. If you watch it, it's really slapstick, and there's a lot that goes into it, and every time that I've found that I've dropped my guard, or a friend shows up backstage, or you're sitting there talking, and all of a sudden you're on and you're late and you have to run out there, the act don't go very well.
Yeah.
So I always, 1 hour before the show, I get so focused and so in tuned. Everybody knows now, stay away from Tommie before his act.
Yeah, I understand. And the horse picks up on your focus too. And I'm sure when you're distracted in those cases. But also, I know you take great care of your horses. Boy, I saw when you came through Tennessee where you were really attentive to them and everything. And I know you have to stay physically and mentally shaped too. What do you do to keep your horses in that top performing condition too?
Well, of course, from keeping them, their physically looks, their skin, and And I take a lot of pride. There's no cuts on them when I take them into the show, and that's keeping them away from each other. The brothers, they like to sit there and fight out in the paddock, so you can't put them next to each other. They run each other around. And the only time my horses ever, knock on wood, the only time they ever really get hurt is out in the paddock, out in the pasture, out running around, out kicking or biting each other. But there's so many things into my job. I have to take care of what they eat, the vitamins and stuff and that they get, and the absorbing. Of course, absorbing is one of our biggest sponsors for making them look good. From everything from fly spray to show sheen and all the skin health care stuff. Right. I also, when I'm trailering them, I trailer them myself. I make sure they get from point A to point B. I load them in the trailer myself. My wife does that too a lot, now, but I watch her just in case I have to do a movie. And there's been times where I had to do a movie and somebody else has had to bring the horses there for me, but it'd be my sister or my Chantel or...
somebody you could trust.
Somebody. It's not somebody I can trust, and it is trust, but it has to be somebody who does it exactly like me. Because I'm a big believer. I'm not the only way. It's not me. I'm not the best in the world. I know that. I know that for a fact. I know there's people that are better than me, that do different things than me. But I do believe if you want to protect and keep your horses consistent, you have to stay the same thing. Whatever has been working for you, whatever works for you now, whatever you've been doing, what they're used to, that's what you should do.
Yeah. We also saw you on the 2011 Rose Bowl parade. That was a very interesting thing for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, doing some Roman riding on it. Huh?
Some Roman riding.
That's pretty
incredible.
Yeah.
7 miles I Roman rode.
Wow.
That's talking about success in your career as being a stuntman in movies and so forth, but you've performed in pretty much the highest profile events in the equestrian world. I know last year did a beautiful job in the opening act of the World Equestrian Games with doing that at Liberty. That was a very moving and beautiful exhibition you put on there. And then the Rose Bowl parade, I mean, it doesn't get better than than that. And I've seen you perform in Florida, and I think you're always on the road, staying busy and so forth. So you've had a lot of success, and I feel comfortable saying that you're probably in the top of your game when it comes to the equine extremist part in the equestrian world. So that's I'm so glad you're getting that recognition and just being out there for everybody.
Well, thank you. It is fun, and there's two parts of my job is the movie industry and the live show industry, and I love them both. The live show industry, the best show out there is Horse World Expo in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I go there, and it's just they let me do all my acts. The fans there are just phenomenal. I mean, after my show, there's an hour and a half of autographs, and people think, oh, you must be tired of signing autographs, and I'm like, no, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I don't need it. I don't have to have it, but I love the fact that people love what I do, and I inspire people, and the little kids, when the little kids come up, or the old guy comes up, or the people that you don't think would, like the 18-year-old boy. When an 18-year-old boy comes up and waits in line for my autograph, I'm like, wow, I touched that kid, because when I was 18, I didn't want anybody's autograph.
No, and that comes through your passion and respect for the fans. I do remember that about you in the two exhibitions I've seen you down in Florida, that you were one of the few that just went out of your way to interact with your fans and the public, and I think that just goes a long way, and it obviously adds to your overall package, and you're just being down to earth and humble, and not forgetting where you came from. And I have noticed that about you, that you're very you're very close to your fans and you respect. So I've seen that firsthand, and that's kind of rare when you get to that level. Yeah.
Tommie, before we let you go, and we really appreciate the interview, I think it'd be great if you'd mention your website and any of the other things that you'd like the folks to know about that they can benefit from that you're doing.
Well, equineextremist.com is our website. We just had to actually buy it back. Somebody, one of those internet sites, ripped us off, and a long time ago. We had to buy it back, and but we got that. Or TommieTurvey.com. We're also on Production Hub or IMDb. I'm the only one. My dad is Tommie Turvey as well. I'm the second. My real name is Tommie Mac Turvey, for anybody who wants to know.
Okay.
The second. And, yeah, we have a clinic coming up here September 9, 10, and 11 here at my house at Liberty Horse Ranch in Florida. And we've got a few movies coming up on the table. I have some really big ones that I can't talk about because I haven't got it yet. I don't want to jinx myself, but something that is going to, to me, you say you think I've pretty much hit the top. I haven't yet to me. I think you're only as good as your next job.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
Very, very true.
I hope I get the next job. I hope I get this next one because it's a big one, and it's something that I think I'm really excited, and I think everybody else, all my fans and everybody in the horse world would be excited too if I get it. If not, there's more.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be pulling for you because I know you've worked hard for it, and we'll be cheering you on. Hope it comes through. You have to let us know. We could announce it to our friends and listeners.
Now, didn't you move your operation to Brooksville, Florida, not too long ago?
Yes, we did.
How's that working out?
A year ago now.
Yeah, does he like it?
Incredible.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I love it. We have I have an indoor arena. It's a small indoor arena that I'm turning into more of a sound stage for horses. I have a mirror ball and lights and lasers and kind of a production stage for horses, so I can do different things and really get horses used to all of the stuff my horses do. Any horse can do. Any good horse can do it. The hard part is doing it on camera, doing it on a set, doing it in front of 5,000, 10,000 people. The World Equestrian Games, thank you very much for the compliment, but I was crossing my fingers at Liberty. There was probably 50 other horses out there in a 300 by 500 foot arena, and my horses were at Liberty, and I'm just, hoping that my horses don't
run away.
If they did,
Here, horsey, here, horsey.
Hey, you would just have to do an impromptu turn into a comedy act.
Yeah,
Hey, Tommie, thank you so much. It's been such a great privilege on our part to have you on the show, and I know all the folks are going to really love this one. It's really, and all your videos are just super, man. Just keep them coming.
Yeah, a lot of passion, energy. You're a great guy, and so glad you're doing so well down in Florida, and we'll keep thinking of you for that big moment there with their next big movie.
Thank you, guys. I sure appreciate it.
Okay, wow, what an interview with Tommie Turvey. He's such a guy, equine extremist. Doesn't really even say it all for what he's able to do with those horses.
No, extremely talented. Well, like I mentioned at the start of the show, just very down to earth too. That's like he said, he spends a couple of hours at the end of the shows just interacting with his fans and signing autographs. I think that's just fantastic.
You know what I thought too when he said, well, my horses don't do anything that yours can't. And I thought, whoa, that's pretty humble because they're doing it because of you, Tommie.
Yeah, maybe I'll need to let Pal let me stand on his back and run through fire. I'm sure he could do it. It's me. I'm not as athletic as Tommie. I'm not a black belt in karate, so it takes a lot of extreme athleticism to what he does.
You can tell the way he jumped on the back of the horse and mounted him that way.
Yeah.
Well, that was really interesting. I knew it would be too. We've got more artwork, so let's show a little bit more of that.
Yep.
Then we have one here by Christine Ann with the mane all up in the air like it was jumping and then caught it in midair.
Yeah, that was actually a photograph taken by Bob Langridge, which she made into a portrait. And, of course, Bob was very gracious and gave us permission to do so. And Christine took that painting and actually auctioned it off at one of the shows to raise some funds for some kids.
Now we have another one by Hannah Thornhill.
Yep, Hannah drew that one. She said it. She asked for permission if you could use one of Ivory Pal's images for that, and of course she could, and that's what she did. A very beautiful little pencil sketch of Ivory Pal. Captured him very nicely.
Very nice. And then Jessica Hartman.
Yeah, Jessica did the same thing. She said, is it okay if I draw some of pictures of Ivory Pal? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And she did a beautiful job of some pictures there where him rearing, and the other one is actually a picture of him that she drew that was on the beach there, but very talented young lady too.
Also, we've got some comments. I think you've got one there you can share with us. We read some before, but I think this is a brand new one that you might like to share with the folks. Who's that from?
Absolutely. It came in from Robin Mulhausen. And this is what she shared with us. She said, I've enjoyed all 5 of your shows, and each one is slightly different from the other. You both are doing such a great job with your interviewing. Just finished listening to show number 4, and as I am still drying my eyes, I'm wondering how Vaughn Wilson got through reading his poem about his horse without bursting into tears. Lots of folks who have mourned the passing of their dog don't realize that we horse lovers can feel the same huge sense of loss when our horse passes away. Just because they don't live in our house with us, unless you're Ivory Pal, doesn't mean the bond of horse and human can't be as strong. Bless you both for allowing us to meet such wonderful people through your show. Wow, what a great, nice comment.
Yeah.
I think when Vaughn Wilson was reading that poem, he kind of warned us that he may break down, and I guess he held it pretty well together. But
he did. He told us ahead of time it was tough to even read it after all that time, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think we all can, really, when you lose a horse.
But we appreciate your comment, Robin. Thank you very much.
Indeed. Also, they may have noticed by going to the Nashville News-Zine site, there's a button on there that says send a photo of your horse. Some of the folks were wondering, well, what's that all about? Send us a photo of your horse, and we're going to be reading this. It's like a poetic description of what it's like to own a horse and have a real close relationship with it, and what you learn from it. And we thought it would be kind of cool to have different listeners send in a photo of their horse, and we'll show a photo of their horse as we're reading this description.
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead and send us your pictures, because we want this poem to be about you and your horse. We know how much everybody loves their horses, so please take the opportunity, because we would love to feature a picture of one of your loved horse. It could be obviously one you have now, or maybe one that just still holds a special place in your heart that passed away. Or had a great impact, at one point in your life. So we do welcome them.
Okay, so people have been going to the like button and clicking on it in order to enter the drawing to win the T-shirt and the autographed photo, which we talked about that. Last show, the winner was Denise Christine. And here is a photo of her wearing the T-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, looks great, huh? Yeah, yep. That's the way it should be. Now, we have winner number 2 of 5. This is number 2, and the winner is...
Drum roll. It is Lorraine Fry.
All
congratulations,
Lorraine. Okay.
Yeah, so Lorraine, if you could email us your T-shirt size and also your mailing address, and we'll put it in the mail.
All right. This week, we have a new sponsor. And, Raphael, do you want to tell us about who that is?
For over 12 years, the Dr. Cook Bitless Bridle has been making horses and riders happy around the world. This is the perfect alternative to using a bit. There are over 100,000 now in use in most all riding disciplines. With Dr. Cook's Bitless Bridle, communication is enhanced, trust is established, performance is improved, and harmony is achieved. Try the Bitless Bridle that started a revolution. For more information, call a toll-free number 866-235-0938 or visit them at www.bitlessbridle.com. That's www.bitlessbridle.com.
Now, I think what we're going to start doing, we did it with Tommie Turvey from the previous show. We set up the next guest. I think that's a good idea. The friends are wanting to know, well, who's coming up next?
Yeah.
So we've got up next Alex Brown, and tell the folks who he is.
Yeah, Alex Brown is, he was fortunate enough to be part of the whole Barbaro episode when he won the Kentucky Derby all the way through the end, through the tragic experience of which we all still remember, him breaking his leg, Barbaro, there at the Preakness, and then all the hopes and support he had across the whole country and the world, maybe even Barbaro, and just as finally giving up to laminitis. So yeah, Alex Brown was right there on the ground capturing everything, and I think his book does a great job of bringing together everybody that was such an important part of Barbaro, from the owners to the jockeys to Dr. Richardson, the veterinary that cared for him so much, and so he brings a great perspective to the whole.
Right, and I think that's one of the incentives that we had, not just because he had a great book, but he loves horses. He tries to help horses, the race horses and all. And of course, that piques our interest right away because that's what the show's about too. So friends, keep on the lookout for that one coming up. That's going to be a great show too. Well, that kind of does it for show number 6. Very interesting. A lot of good stuff keeps coming our way. So keep listening, everyone.
Yeah, we sure do. And keep sending in the comments. And we appreciate all your support.
So, folks, thanks for tuning in, as they say. And be sure to be watching for our next episode coming soon.
Until then, happy trails, everybody.
Hey, Raphael, I bet you can't do this.
Horse and Friends Radio with